Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. Want to improve your organization's customer service? Looking for insider tips to knock your customer socks off? Then you're in the right place. Here's your host, Yanique Grant.
Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. Today is a very special episode, and I'm sharing it with my daughter, Summer. So I'm celebrating 10 years of podcasting this month. And over the 10 years, we published 272 episodes. Majority of those episodes have been audio podcasts, but we converted from audio to video in September 2024. So we've been doing video podcasting for almost 2 years now. And so it's really just about celebrating the 10 years that we've been podcasting. And Summer is the interviewer today, and I am the interviewee. So take it away, Summer.
All right. So, Mom, why did you start podcasting 10 years ago? And what made you think that it would be a good idea?
Okay, so I started podcasting 10 years ago because I was passionate about customer experience. And I saw this new platform that allowed me to connect with people, and it was free, still free to this day. And I said, you know what? It would be great to interview people who are like minded, who have been successful in the space of customer experience across the globe. I think it would help to raise my knowledge and exposure and experience, but it would also help to bring awareness to them and what they're doing in their countries and share that information on a global space. So that's why I started.
That's cool. It's interesting. Were you scared? Like, did you almost like not do it?
I wouldn't say I was scared. I hired a podcast coach out of Canada, and he was amazing. He helped me set up the podcast in terms of the artwork and how to do the show notes and what platforms we needed to use to do the recording and how we should publish it. And because he'd done it already, he was it was great to have him guide me along the path to what to do to podcast. Because if I was to do it by myself, probably it would never have gotten off the ground, because I don't think there were as many resources that are available in 2026 as compared to when I started in May 2016.
It's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like 10, wasn't I?
Yes, you were.
So 272 episodes are quite a lot. What kept you going when, I don't know, things got hard or it felt like pointless?
What kept me going? I think what keeps me going to today in customer experience, the fact that I really enjoy talking about customer experience, learning about new things that can enhance customer experience, and the opportunity that I get to connect with so many different people. So it does get daunting, and it's a whole lot of work, just for our audience listening. I used to have the podcast published by internal team member that was in our organization. But unfortunately, that person is no longer with us. And now I've taken on the responsibility of doing the editing myself. So I'm actually quite proud of myself, because the last 3 episodes or 4 episodes, I believe, that have been published, I have been the one that has done the show notes. No, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of tools out there now that can literally help you from 0 to 100 so quickly, especially with AI. Like, AI has literally changed the game. I can literally put in exactly how I want the notes to come out. There's Mac Whisper that literally transcribes the audio. I just need to listen back to pick up if there are any errors. So the tools that we have nowadays compared to 10 years ago, I don't know if I would have taken on that daunting activity. Doing it 3, 4 times now, it's not so overwhelming. And as I said, one of the things that has kept me going is because it's a subject matter that I'm really passionate about. And I enjoy talking to people about ways in which they can enhance customer experience in their organizations, in their community, just overall.
Interesting. That's kind of cool. What's the favorite guest that you've had on the podcast or like your favorite episode?
Wow. That's kind of hard out of 272 episodes. But if I was to pick a few of the guests that really, I enjoyed the conversation so much, they were just so rewarding over the years, I would say Matt Swain was an excellent guest. Joey Coleman was also another great guest. And we actually had Joey on the podcast twice. in the 272 episodes. So he's been featured 2 times.
Okay, Joey.
We've had Jimmy Gibson. We interviewed him recently. That was an awesome episode. Jason Feifer, who's the editor in chief at Entrepreneur Magazine. His episode was also pretty fantastic. Jay Bear, Paul Bronson, who I met in person in Jamaica. That was also a great episode. And Rochelle Gapere, who is the happiness queen. So those were some of the ones that kind of really resonated with me over the years. Don't get me wrong, all the episodes and all the guests have been fantastic. But if I was to pick the ones that really, I remember to this day, over the 10 years, because 10 years is a long time, those were the ones that jumped out at me the most.
Okay. So you've trained over 50,000 people in Jamaica, Caribbean countries, and African countries, basically across the whole world, to be honest. Has the podcast like played a role in that, or
I think it has. I mean, podcasting has opened up opportunities for me to go to Arlington in Washington and sit on a podcast panel, which you were there with me on that trip. I took you. It was
that
awesome.
was fun?
It's also opened up my most recent opportunity where I went to Canada and I was the master of ceremonies for a very large BPO Mindshare event. That was amazing. We had over 100 persons from all over the world that were attending that event. It's also opened up opportunities for me to connect with people on a global scale. So, not just opportunities for work, but some of these people have become good contacts that I can literally pick up the phone and call or send an email to if I want to bounce an idea off of them, or if I'm looking for some research or information that will help to fuel a training session that I'm doing. And so having those connections and opportunities to network with so many different people globally in a space that I'm so passionate about, the podcast has definitely allowed that.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. What's one thing that you know now that you wish you knew in episode 1 of the podcast?
Oh gosh. So I thought about this, right? So when I started podcasting, and I'm gonna be very vulnerable here and like be honest with everybody, I believe that people probably wouldn't want to hear my most natural accent. And so I would say quite a bit of twanging, I guess you'd call it, in the first couple episodes.
What's that?
Like when you don't talk like how you talk like how I'm talking now as a Jamaican. So I would try and sound more, I would say North American and not
Um,
necessarily Jamaican.
uh,
And I was told by a very good friend of mine, a young lady that I went to prep school with, she thought that it would be good for me to sound more authentic. And I took her advice and I started now recording just sounding like Yanique and not sounding, like I'm trying to put on or sound like somebody different. And
different.
yeah, that was a humbling learning experience. Sometimes we feel like we have to put on and be somebody that we're not to get people to like us or get people to listen to us. But I think if we're just talk as how you would talk, if you and
You'll
I are here
attract
sitting
the
down.
people who you are to attract if you just be yourself.
Exactly. So I learned, yeah, that's something I would have done differently for sure on episode 1.
Okay. And what do you want the next 10 years to look like, podcast wise?
For my podcast, I would want to eventually be able to have interviews with people, like Brené Brown and Oprah Winfrey and Simon Sinek, people who I literally look up to. And even though they're not necessarily in the customer experience space, I believe that what they do in terms of, the amazing philanthropic work that they do globally can help to add to build people on a personal basis. And
Yeah.
customer experience is not just about the interactions that you have with other people, it's also how you build yourself and how you show up in different experiences. And so I would want the podcast to get to that space where, of course, we have more subscribers, but also more, I would say, persons, guests that can literally touch the hearts of others and really transform how they view themselves and how they show up in the interactions that they have with other people.
Okay. Okay. And this is a personal question, by the way. But what is the hope I took away from watching you do this for like the past 10 years?
What I hope you took away, like as my daughter,
Yeah.
I hope you take away that your mom is someone that is focused and persistent. She stays the course of whatever she's doing, despite the difficulties that she may be faced with. And, you know, she believes in whatever she's doing. But you're here with me. What have you taken away? You've seen me for the last 10 years.
You're very hardworking. I mean, everything I basically just said with your podcast. I mean, I see you do it like every week. You go into your room and hide away and make a little podcast, and then you publish it. And then I guess for the past couple of weeks as well, I've seen you really talk to me about how you have to be more attentive to the podcast wise, as in doing the administrative work beforehand so that way it can be published when it needs to be published on time.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that, I mean, yeah, you're kind of just super bomb, to be honest.
Oh, thank you, Summer. I really appreciate that. All right.
And those are yeah, that was the last question.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for hopping in on our special 10-year episode. Summer, my amazing daughter, interviewed me. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to you continuing to tap into the awesome resources that we have for the podcast. It's free to this day. We publish on Apple Podcasts, we publish on Spotify, we publish on YouTube, and through our website. If you've never tapped into an episode before, please feel free to tap in. We'd love to just join and be part of our conversation. And you can join our private Facebook group, Navigating the Customer Experience Community, or follow us on X at Navigating CX. Until next time, Summer's your host.
Yeah, hi. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening. For more awesome resources to take your customer service game to another level, head over to navigatingthecustomerexperience.com. See you next time.